Good afternoon. Up until now at the conference, we've talked a lot about raising seed funding, Series A. This panel is going to focus on scaling up, the next stage in the process. And so very pleased to introduce our panelists. We have representatives from 3 large corporates, which that's one way of scaling up. And we have a representative from Euronext that will talk about the advantages of going public at the right time. Let me start out by talking about the fact that in the last couple of years, over 1,000 big corporates around the world have launched funds or opened incubators or accelerators, and that's something like an 80% increase over 2011. These big companies are all acknowledging that they need to bring innovation in from the outside, but the question is, how do these big Goliaths connect with the Davids, the startups, and how do they make it work? So let me kick off by asking Maria Luisa Silva, who's in charge of SAP's startup program in EMEA. How is SAP working with startups?
Thank you, Jennifer. So SAP is taking an open approach. So it's not just about bringing innovation in, it's about bringing innovation through. Not just innovation into SAP, but also innovation through SAP into our customers. So it's all about how to help our customers run simple, is our strategy, but also how to enable the acceleration of digital transformation into our world, and therefore into our customers.
Well, this is a big change for SAP, right? Because, I mean, unlike other big tech companies like Cisco, which are known for, doing lots of M&A, SAP was really kind of trying to do it all on its own for a very long time. And then it was just with the introduction of HANA, the in-memory computational platform, that SAP started to do things differently. So you have like 1 or more programs now?
So regarding how to handle startups, we created specifically startup-focused program, but we have a lot of innovation programs within SAP, both entrepreneurship and outside entrepreneurship programs. And regarding the M&A approach, it was a little bit before HANA. So we started with the first acquisition of Business Objects 2 years before HANA. And in fact, the HANA platform changed a big deal regarding the SAP strategy, because the potential of transformation that the platform brings is huge, and SAP wants to make sure that it's available not just to corporates and customers of SAP, but to also agile and young startups that can bring all kinds of innovation that have a good fit with the platform, therefore big data, predictive or real-time analytics, and make sure that they are aware of the platform and they have access to it at no cost. And that's what the focus of the program is all about.
Okay, thanks, Luisa. Okay, so let me turn to you now, Joelle. So Cisco is famous for buying young tech companies, but now you have lots of other new ways for startups to work with the company. Can you give us a big picture overview?
Sure, Jennifer. So hi, everyone. Cisco has been focusing a lot on internal and external innovation programs, trying to gather best practices around the world. And what we're doing today is different levels of innovation programs and acceleration programs to make sure that we identify and start to work early with startups that are key, not only to add competitive advantage with regards to our product portfolio, but that they are discovering a certain type of technology that meets, customer need. On the other side, we also have a network of innovation centers, and these innovation centers that are scattered around the world, we have 10 today. They're focusing on co-innovation and joint solution development to accelerate prototyping and go-to-market. So that's our main focus, to work with startups in a way that we help them and they help us also meet some of these strategies.
Okay, so let me turn to you now, Paulo Urbos. some people may still think of MasterCard as a payments company or
Yeah.
a credit, just a company that gives credit. So tell us how MasterCard has evolved as a company.
Yeah. I think it's important to make a first statement is that we don't issue credit cards. So people tend to see our products or our brand in the cards, and sometimes they are confused, and they think, well, it's a card issued by MasterCard. No. We engage with players. And we have, let's say, we have perceived that the digital transformation that we are seeing in society forced MasterCard to think about what's happening before the payment and after the payment. So our objective of engaging with startups is exactly engaging with companies that are profoundly transforming the way that consumers and retailers and governments are engaging with the payments. And the payments is a small part of a vast and a major experience. So we would like to see ourselves as a layer of technology, if you want, a kind of, let's call it an operation system where merchants, governments, telcos, other types of business connect to allow consumers to make payments every time, every day, everywhere, in any device, in a secure, easier, and smart way. So this is how MasterCard see its role today in this business.
Okay, so let's talk about how specifically startups are working with your companies and give specific examples of how that has helped them to scale up. I'll start with you, Louise.
Thank you. So I would like to give maybe 2 examples. The first one would be a startup called Celonis. They've started working with us for 3 years ago.
Where are they based?
They are based in Germany, in Munich, and they have created a solution as a software that aims to create or represent a new category of software. It's called process mining. And what they bring is a full transparency on processes execution on a corporate business processes execution, wherever they come, as long as there's a digital trace that can represent them and that can be found, so they can then create and show analytics around that. So we've worked with them for 3 years. When they started engaging with us, with SAP, and got to understand the technology of HANA, they were less than 10 people. They were just targeting Germany. They had a small network of partners there. They were a good business, so healthy business, with a great vision. But they lacked a platform that could help them scale. So after 3 years, or after 2 years, they were the first startup joining the SAP third-party price list. They are, remember I told you they were less than 10 people.
Okay, and when you talk about third-party price list, for people who are not familiar, it basically means that the SAP Salesforce worldwide is pushing their product to
Correct.
all of SAP's clients.
As if it was an SAP product.
And
exactly.
so how has that impacted sales?
Amazingly, I have to say they are one of our top startups in the region. They currently now have almost 70 people and growing very, very fast in terms of their results. They've been doubling their achievements year on year, every year, okay. And they don't expect to slow down anytime soon. And it was impactful the way that working, and I hate to preach, right? But they're not here today, so I have to. But it was great to see the level of impact that aligning and just mentoring the startup regarding how to relate with a corporate, because our job in this program is to have the startup cap, right. Not the SAP cap. Respecting SAP interests, but making sure we defend the startup's interests and that we maximize their chances of success in the market.
Okay, well, speaking of that, what do they have to give up in return? Do you take equity?
Zero. So in the program, we find the right startups. There has to be a technology fit. If there's a technology fit, we give the technology for free and for development and test, and we take no equity. So it's the aim, the strong aim is to ensure is that it's available for everyone, that they can take advantage of the technology.
Okay, so Joel, tell us a little bit about how it works with Cisco, and maybe give us some examples.
Sure. We every year, for instance, we do a challenge called the Innovation Grant Challenge. We actually just launched ours 2 weeks ago, and we invite any startup to apply. We give a totaling prize up to 250K in prizes, in which we also don't ask for any equity. We just want, a technology startup that can work with us in the IoT field, for instance, that can really connect with our portfolio. If they are already working in a solution that feels that has a fit with our product portfolio even better. We have a developers platform that they can go there and play with our APIs to do integration already, so we advise them also to do that. And then, as a success story, we have a startup called Relayer. They did several acceleration programs with other...
Also based in Germany, right?
Also based in Germany, correct. Although we work with worldwide startups, they are based in Germany. They did our Innovation Grant Challenge. They applied a couple years ago. They won. And then they started to work in our innovation center. So they did solution integration, proof of concept. They did a building management system in the cloud. So they actually leveraged the innovation center, and they deployed up to 3,000 to 4,000 sensors inside the innovation center to test their product. So the innovation centers are interesting because we receive CXO level executives from all of our big customers every day. So not only they were seeing Cisco products, they were also seeing our startups' final output.
And they were able to leverage that pilot to raise the Series A, right?
Yes, they actually then successfully raised Series A 11 million with
Kleiner Perkins.
Kleiner Perkins, which is a very good one. And they grew up, they just moved office there now. They grew up like for 60, 70 people already in just shortage of 2-3 years. So they're very recent. They're a success story for us. Of course, they got exposure for all of our sales force as well to take their product to market.
Okay, great. And then I just want to mention really quickly that what's nice about some of these programs is that they don't demand exclusivity. So there is one example of a company that is using the HANA platform of SAP and Cisco Gear, and went through both programs. So you don't necessarily have to choose one or the other. Okay, so let's move to MasterCard and talk a little bit specifically about how you're working with those startups.
Yeah, we have, I think the company since 2006 went through a process of transformation, and we have adapting our people, which is very important because we need to cope with the digital trend and the innovation. And we have also created 2 main programs. One is Open API and Developer Zone, led by MasterCard in the Silicon Valley, and the Start Path program. So 2 different programs. One is, as the name says, people and companies and entrepreneurs and startups of all over the world can connect and use our rails to provide payments facility on their solutions. Okay. And the second one is a more, let's say, compelling program. People apply for that program, and they go through a process of a pitching, and then 7, 8 startups are selected, and they go through an immersion program, and basically they have access to MasterCard experts and also partners, which is very important. So, and when I say partners, I mean banking partners, retailing partners, technological partners that can, let's say, help them to scale and develop the startup solution that has been selected.
So have any startups kind of met that milestone where you are pushing them to your partners? Yes.
The good thing is that obviously MasterCard is improving, let's say, the services that we can deploy to our customers. But on the other hand, within this program, the startups, they have access to these partners. And these partners are first they can participate on the development of the startup, they can advise them, and also they are the front of the first pilot that these startups can have. So And we are talking about companies like Santander, like the Commonwealth Bank of Australia, like Tesco, some very well-known entities that are participating on the program as partners and, in the end, as facilitators of this process.
Okay, great. So, I mean, if startups are working with, any of these three companies, they can hope to perhaps, significantly scale their sales, get intros to big name partners, big name customers, and potentially perhaps be acquired by one of your companies, or they may also decide that they would rather go the IPO route. So I'd like to turn now to Isabel and talk a little bit about how and when companies should consider an IPO.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's a pleasure to be here. So first of all, to say that stock exchanges are not, and Euronext is not just for big companies. We have an offer for smaller companies. And I would say that once you have a product, a service, and once you have, some revenue, although we do have some companies listed which have not revenue, some biotechs which are still on the research phase and which can list and have been listing in our markets. And we have a dedicated offer as well to tech companies. So we have a segment dedicated with special services to tech in a broad sense. So including media tech, including clean tech, TMT, biotechs. And we have been developing, different services, starting from what I would recommend as the TechShare program. So TechShare program is a coaching, information, education program which lasts for a year, which entrepreneurs can participate, and over a year, about 1 day or half a day per month, you would get information about how to finance, how to participate in capital markets, how to raise finance through capital markets, either through bonds or through equity, because debt is also part of this equation.
So planning for an IPO definitely takes some time and preparation, and I'm sure that this course, helps. But what are some of the other guidelines that we can give to folks in the audience? I know that there are cases of biotech companies that will go public before they have revenues because it takes a very, very long time to develop those products, and there are specialized funds that look just at that. But for an IT company, I mean, what would be sort of the minimum level of revenues before you would really seriously consider the IPO?
Yeah, we have seen companies listing with 5-10 million euro revenues, but in the range of 10 to 50 are where most of these tech companies range in our market. We have 330 listed companies on our tech segment, and these companies typically raise 10 to 30 million euros when they IPO, for example. We had an interesting company listed last week called Clanic. It's a Internet of the Things company that raised 10 million in a company that is valued at 30 million euros. So it listed about 30% of the capital. It was a capital increase to allow them to increase the business. They are already in several countries in Europe, and they wanted to increase. It's very varied, but I would say these are the ranges.
How do you decide whether to go public or go for another round with a C or D round with a venture firm, or raise private equity? What are the pros and cons?
Yeah. Okay. So capital markets are, investors are a very different animal from VCs or PEs, because they're just what we call finance investors. They are interested in investing in the company with the aim at getting a return, but they will not be, your partners. They will not be influencing or or sharing the management of the company. So there is an advantage, so you can get some kind of independence on your management, which is something that some entrepreneurs value. And in this sense, when they're not happy, they will sell the shares in the market, and they will go away. So they wait for a return, but they will not share your business. On the other side, venture capital or private equity have other advantages. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. It's simply different options. And in the market, you will go through a path that will allow you to grow by different rounds of financing in the markets as well, both in debt and in equity. For example, last year we did about 30 tech IPOs. These 30 companies, they raised about 1 billion euros on the IPO. But we had another 2 billion euros raised in second or third offers. So this is a route. This is a route that companies can follow.
Thank you. So now I'd like to, before we run out of time, I'd like to ask each of the panelists to give a word of advice about, what is the best way for a young startup to prepare for engaging with a large company, and what is the best way for them to connect with your company if somebody out here in the audience has something that they think would interest you?
Very well. So the best way to engage with SAP and the program if you are a startup is either reaching out directly to myself or to my colleagues in the audience. I think Claudia
Gary, can you...
I'm not sure Gary is still around, but Claudia is right
stand
here in
up,
the front row. Yes.
Okay.
And the other way is reaching out directly to the website, startupfocus.saphana.com, and just learn about the program, about the benefits, and enroll. Everything is simple, and everything is there. There are very few people the startups need to engage with, and the advice I would give is be unique, be focused, and be open-minded. That's it.
Okay. Joel, I know you've got some strong feelings here.
Well, yeah. Do your homework. When you're focusing on your product, try to investigate the company that you want to go to, understand their product portfolio, their market, so that when you connect with the company, you already have a strong fit, or at least you show the other company that you've done the homework, that you understand the market where you're going for. Apply to these programs, as Luisa also mentioned. In our case, we have our Innovation Grant Challenge.cisco.com. That's the website in which you can apply for free, and you can position yourself firsthand in front of not only Cisco, but all of our customers. And, iterate.
In an earlier conversation, you told me you found that there are two different types of startups, and their success is kind of dictated by their approach. Can you elaborate that for the audience?
Yeah. So the two types of startups that I usually see are those that the successful ones will be the ones that focus on the product, that focus on really understanding the customer, and then seeing where companies like SAP, Cisco, MasterCard, others fit in their product. And then the other one is that type of startup that has an idea, then they apply to these types of challenges so that they can get some traction, but they don't focus on the product, they focus on the events, or they focus on these programs. And the idea here is really be sharp, really be focused, as Luisa also said, so that when you have a good product, when you go to these events, you're spot on, you can nail it.
Thanks. And if I can just ask Paulo to just really quickly, he wanted to give...
Okay, I think most of the things have been said already, but think about the uniqueness of your offer. If you want to engage with MasterCard, think about what are you offering and if it fits on our business. Obviously, you can go to our, I would say, two websites. One is startpath.com and the other one is mastersofcode.com, and check in which of the programs that you can fit. And I would say also that think about MasterCard, think big, think globally, don't think on domestic or local solutions. And this is a fundamental, I would say, advice or piece of advice that I can give you if you want to succeed.
Okay, great. And with that, I'm afraid we're going to have to end the panel. Could I have a nice round of applause for their panelists, please?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you all very much. There's no time for questions, so if you happen to run through them on the hall, just ask them questions. I think they're pretty open to it.